Besides the exercise, testing the reliability of shipboard weapons in hot and humid climates, the presence of Russian warships near Pearl Harbor brings other unpleasant surprises to the U.S. Recently, Topor.ru published an article by analyst Yevgeny Fedorov with the title, "To the Distant Shores: The First Time the Russian Navy Exercises Near Pearl Harbor." I would like to summarize the article. Biden is weak. On June 18, a group of 4 warships and auxiliary ships of the Russian Navy completed the move to the exercise area off the coast of Hawaii, located more than 20,000 kilometers from their main bases. It should be noted that long-range aircraft of the Russian Aerospace Forces, VKS, as well as a number of unidentified submarines also took part in the exercise. According to the scenario of the exercise, the Russian fleet carried out a missile attack against the enemy's carrier battle group and submarine. For decades, Americans have ceased to see a Cold War adversary near their shores. And with the recent exercise, the current owner of the White House and the American people have once again recognized it. Social media and online publications are rife with comments that feature the following: "This is not going to happen under Trump." Having such a weak leader would encourage all of America's enemies. The Russians know that the dementia patient Biden is a weak person. It is not without reason that this happened right after the meeting of Putin and Joe Biden. I think retarded Joe didn't warn Putin not to get involved in Hawaii. The Pentagon's response was rather limited to the presence of the Russian strike group in neutral waters. The guests were escorted only by 3 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers and the Sentinel patrol boat. In addition, a number of F-22 fighters took off from Pearl Harbor to provide air support, and eventually the Nimitz-class USS Carl Vinson aircraft carrier battle group also arrived in the area. It should be noted that Russian warships operating near Hawaii can use a rather dangerous arsenal. The surface ships alone carried hundreds of anti-ship missiles, ballistic missiles, Uranus, Caliber, and Vulcan. And that is not to mention the weapons equipped on the submarines participating in the exercise. The Russian military is said to have limited its capabilities, with strategic bombers Tu-95MS and Tu-160 not participating in the exercise, only the participation of Ka-27 and submarine hunting helicopters. Tu-142MZ anti-submarine aircraft takes off from Kamchatka-Yelizovo Airport. The Tu-142MZs were escorted by MiG-31BM interceptors and supported by an Il-78 tanker to make a flight of about 10,000 kilometers. It should also be taken into account that 6 Il-38 and Il-38Ns are responsible for protecting the rear, the Sea of Okhotsk region from a mock counterattack of enemy submarines. In total, up to 20 aircraft participated in the exercise at different times. American sources said that Tu-95MS strategic bombers were detected in the exercise area, and they are believed to have sent a pair of F-22s to intercept them. However, it is possible that American journalists could not distinguish the Tu-95MS because the anti-submarine Tu-142 was built on the basis of the Tu-95. It is also worth noting that the group of ships approached the meeting point by different itineraries. The cruiser, Varyag, the destroyer, Marshal Shaposhnikov, the oil tanker, Boris Butoma, as well as the corvettes, Loud, and Perfect, set sail on May 1 in the East China Sea. They were followed by the advanced anti-submarine destroyer, Admiral Tributes, and its escorts in the direction of the Philippine Sea. Some ships moved to the assembly point from the areas where they were on combat missions. The reconnaissance ship Marshal Krylov, acting as a command ship for the exercises with missile boats, tankers, corvettes and hospital ships, departed for the Sea of Okhotsk from Vladivostok. The hydrometeorological ship of the Pacific Fleet, Admiral Gelavani, also joined the voyage. In the Central Pacific region, Russian surface ships, submarines and Air Force conducted the first phase of the drills, which included live fire, repelling and air raid and hunting ships. Enemy underground. In particular, AK-630 automatic naval guns and A-190 naval guns were operated. For the first time in modern history, such a powerful group of warships is operating so far from Russia's shores and so close to American naval bases. The significance of this event is hard to overstate, and the remarks of former Northern Fleet Commander Vyacheslav Popov may be most relevant. The U.S. Navy also carries out missions near our bases, both in the North, in the Baltic and in the Black Sea. Exercise operations are a very important task in peacetime. Faced with the fact that the Americans have declared Russia hostile, apparently they, Moscow, decided to demonstrate the capabilities of the Pacific Fleet in the vicinity of their bases, Washington. The Russian fleet practiced destroying U.S. aircraft carriers and intercepting missile tests. According to the plan of the exercise, the Russian fleet in the combat focus zone is divided into two groups. The first group simulated the enemy carrier, while the second moved 300 nautical miles away from the first group and practiced attacks. Leading the strike group was the flagship of the Pacific Fleet, the cruiser Varyag. In addition to the flagship, the destroyer, Marshal Shaposhnikov, the corvettes, Hero of the Russian Federation Aldar Sidenjapov, Perfect, and Loud, also took part in the attack. The Russian Defense Ministry also mentioned the conditional firing of the missile, at important targets such as simulated enemy military infrastructure. Obviously, we are talking about the U.S. Pacific Fleet's central base at Pearl Harbor. According to the U.S. side, the Russian ships passed near the Hawaiian capital Honolulu with a distance of only 63 kilometers. The maneuvers of the warships of the Russian fleet, in addition to the training of obvious practical skills, also carry a significant geopolitical element. On June 16, a meeting between President Putin and Mr. Biden took place. Russia's military exercises near the U.S. coast provided a certain foundation in the negotiations. In an interview with RIA Novosti, chairman of the All-Russian Fleet Support Movement, DPF, First Class Captain Mikhail Neneshev commented, "This is not just an operation or the organization of dispatching one or two ships. The essence of these exercises is about geopolitics. They show that our warships are capable of destroying them. Any target. However, there are other goals for exercises near Hawaii that are not included in the training categories at all. The most interesting role in this story is the command ship, Scout Marshal Krylov. This is a lightly armed ship, launched in 1987 and designed to conduct tests of space objects and intercontinental missiles. The ship is equipped with space communications and radar equipment. It is not a typical strike force control vessel. The fact that Marshal Krylov was present in the vicinity of the Hawaiian Islands was most likely to test the U.S. missile defense capabilities. The Pentagon planned to launch a ballistic missile from Kodiak Island in Alaska to test its Standard Missile 6, SM-6, interceptor in the Hawaii area by the end of June. Most likely the intercept was planned at Kwajalein Atoll in the Marshall Islands from June 21 to 25. And in the center of the ocean, there is a group of American ships gathered to observe and escort ballistic missiles. But as we have seen, the test did not take place. Earlier at the end of May 2021, the Russian electronic intelligence ship Karelia operating in international waters near the Hawaiian Islands was blamed by the U.S. side for the failure of interception missile tests. It is likely that the SM-6 missile tests were postponed due to the presence of Russian ships in the area. It seems that the Americans will be patiently waiting for the Karelia to return to its home port before proceeding with the trials.